everyone, it's Allie here, and today we're going to talk about one of my absolute favorite things in the ballet world, and that is pointe shoe fittings. Pointe shoe fittings are so exciting whether you've had several pairs before or if it's your first time. I already have a shoe obsession, and what's better than spending time in a store, having someone wait on you hand and foot, getting to try on as many pairs of shoes as you want, and then only being obligated to buy one pair. It really reminds me of a Cinderella and glass slipper situation. You get to be the princess and you get to find your perfect, beautiful, shiny satin slipper. There are definitely some things you can do and things to keep in mind that will help you get the absolute most out of your pointe shoe fitting, because it isn't something that a lot of us can afford to do very often. And you shouldn't need to do it very often if you get matched with a good fitter and you can ask the right questions and give him or her the right information. So first off, if you have a pointe shoe fitting coming up and you've had pointe shoes before, start to really pay attention to what you like and don't like in your shoes when you're in class, or think back to the other pairs that you've had and things that you've liked about them. For example, I had a pair of Capezios once that almost had sort of a half shank sort of function in the shoe, so it was really soft up towards the heel to allow me to get over the box a lot easier. So that's something that I really look for, like a 3/4 shank type of shoe. Pay attention to where you have pain and try to figure out what things you might need to adjust when you get new pointe shoes. And if this is your first time, first of all, congratulations, it's so exciting! Seriously, I wish I could come to your pointe shoe fitting. I would watch everyone's pointe shoe fittings. I could seriously just sit in my dance store and watch people get fitted for pointe shoes because it's so fun. The pointe shoes are so pretty and it's so exciting to watch everyone get their new shoes, and the general vibe in the air is very positive and everyone's all excited, and I've said excited quite a bit so far, so I'm going to try and stop saying that word. But anyway, if it is your first time, try to do your research. Find out what shapes are typically best for your feet. Get to know your feet. Look at the shape. Do you have a long big toe while the rest of your toes are much shorter? Or is your second toe longer? Do you have compressible feet? When you squeeze your feet from the side, do they squish up quite a bit? Do you have wide feet? Do you have narrow feet? Short toes, long toes? These are all things that you want to consider and things that you want to know for yourself, so that if your fitter doesn't pick it up, you can tell them so they can take that into consideration when they're pulling different styles for you to try on at first. Also, really important, before you go to your fitting, definitely warm up, because you want your feet and your ankles and your legs to be at a point where they would be if you were using them in class. At least for me, there's a significant difference in my feet before and after I warm them up, mainly because I do have some problems with my Achilles tendons, my shins, and my ankles. So please make sure you warm up, because it will be healthier for you too, because in a pointe shoe fitting you will be going on pointe, obviously. And this next thing is huge. I cannot tell you how many times I have walked away with a pair of shoes that weren't quite perfect just because I was too afraid to speak up. Your fitter is not going to know what's going on inside your shoe. They have a general idea from what things look like and from their experience, but you need to let them know, hey, my big toe is really squished and I'm feeling a lot of pressure on the big toe knuckle. That means the shoe is too short and you don't want that. And also, don't be afraid to ask questions. If he or she chooses a specific style for you or mentions something about the shoe and you're just curious, for example, she might tell you, I pulled this shoe for you because it has a really nice tapered box, and you can be like, oh, why is that? And they'll probably tell you because I noticed you had tapered toes. It's always really good to interact with your fitter as much as possible. The other thing that is really helpful, if you have the chance, try to schedule an appointment with your teacher, at least if she can come with you, or if she can actually do the fitting herself. I am blessed to have a dance store attached to my studio, and so my dance teacher actually works there. So she, my own teacher, was able to do my fitting, and not only did I feel more comfortable, but she also already had a really good working knowledge of my feet and what they look like in class, my strengths and my weaknesses. And I've noticed that my interactions with her and my class experience I've gotten a lot more out of it, and I've kind of established that connection with her, just doing the fitting together. And we were able to address some issues that I was wondering about, like rolling in on my arches and turnout and all that stuff. So if possible, schedule a fitting with your teacher, and also don't be afraid to say no. Most dance stores have a policy where if you schedule a fitting and you don't buy a pair of shoes, there is either a fee that you pay for the fitting if you don't buy shoes, or you're required to make a minimum purchase in the store. It's not worth it to spend the money on a pair of shoes you're not happy with because you really won't use them anyway. So don't be afraid to say no. What should you expect when you go to your fitting? First of all, you'll probably need to schedule a fitting. Call your dance store and ask them when they have times available. Ask about their whole protocol, procedure type thing. And you also might want to ask them at that time as well what their protocol is for if you schedule a fitting and you don't buy a pair of shoes. Most dance stores have a fee for the fitting that's waived if you buy shoes, and then if you don't buy a pair, you pay the fee for the fitting. When you get there, they might still be finishing up with another dancer, so please be patient and hang out, take a look around till it's your turn. And they also might be busy and they may be fitting you and another person at the same time. I think that's really common, so please don't get upset about that because that would just be mean. They'll probably ask your street shoe size, or they'll take your foot's measurement. They might ask what you like in a shoe, and if it's your first time, obviously you won't know. But if you've done some research on Pointe shoe shapes and styles and you've examined your own feet, you might be able to start off with something like, well, this is my first time, but I did want to try a pair of shoes that has a nice tapered box because I have tapered toes, or I would like to try a 3/4 type shoe because my feet aren't as flexible as I would like them to be. Something along those lines, just give them something to start with is always really helpful. That's a good time to let them know about if you have compressible feet too. So then they'll just start pulling styles. You put them on, that's too short, that's too long, too wide, whatever, and you just go from there. So again, this is a very vocal, very trial and error process, so don't be afraid to speak up. It is so easy to be shy. I always feel shy, I always feel like embarrassed, and I feel like, oh, my feet don't look good, you know, but don't worry about that. Speak up, let them know how it feels in the shoe, let them know what you're thinking, and it will really raise the chances of you finding a perfect fit. Alright guys, that's my little tidbits of wisdom for Pointe shoe fittings. If you have a fitting coming up, let me know what kind of shoes you ended up with. Good luck and have fun. And keep in touch with me on Facebook at facebook.com/themissallyk, and I will see you all next time. Bye!